Welcome to Advocates for Justice Legal School. I'm Coach Neighbors, and tonight we've got some interesting things to talk about, so we're going to get right to work. Welcome to Advocates for Justice Paralegal School. I provide the tools, you do the work. And tonight's live stream, we're going to review the judge's decision one judge's decision on the TRO, and we're going to talk about the things that you guys need to understand. And we're also going to answer some questions at the end of the program. And if I have time, I'm going to touch on the ring strategy. The ring strategy is the collective steps that everyone has had to do. And I'm going to post a link on my blog site tomorrow on my website, and I'll also post it in Facebook. And that link will contain it'll be a blog, and in the blog will contain a link to the ring strategy, so that you guys can use that to guide yourself to see if you're missing something, if you should have did something, or whatever, especially if they're ignoring you. So now, the first thing I want to tell you guys is please remember that I'm not an attorney. And so don't send me your documents or information about your documents or a whole big giant write-up about your situation, because we don't do that. Here, if you invest in 42 USC 1983 package, we're going to be going after them for the routine process and procedures, the routine procedures that the state does that lined you up in their court. They violated your due process rights, and that's what we go after. We don't ever go into court and argue their lies, because when you do that, you're doomed. And if you're going to go into court and argue their lies, you may well just go throw your stuff out in the yard, throw your shit in the yard. I'm just saying, because arguing their lies is not going to help you. So you guys need to remember, I'm not an attorney. I don't tell you what to do. The best thing to do is to go to my website and review the documents. And then if you have questions, you can contact me on Facebook and Messenger, or you can email me your questions. I don't coach from my phone because my hands are way too big, and it takes too long to text a message, and then when I'm done, it doesn't say what it's supposed to. So I don't coach on my phone, and I'm going to need you guys to consider these rules, because if you don't, then you're going to kind of get kicked to the curb. But these are the rules that I need to have in place to make everything go smooth and to allow me to help as many people as possible. Now, one of the things I want you guys to do is do your research on your options on my website before you contact me, before you email me or message me or whatever, or call me. Do your research. Go to the website, take a look at the options that you have. Doing the research will add considerable amount of value to our communication when we do actually communicate. So make sure you got to do that. And the other thing that I want to do while we're doing this is I want you guys to please remember to click on those ads so I can get paid. And make sure you subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and leave a comment. The comments let YouTube know that I'm bringing fire to the table. So make sure you leave a comment. Now let's just get right into the TRO, temporary restraining order to block the state from receiving federal funding. That's what we're talking about today. Let me turn that off. Before we go any further, I want to put a link here to, I want to show you guys the link here that I have. This is to the most popular, that is the most popular foreclosure offensive package that we have, and it's getting a lot of attention. So I'm just I'll put that up there periodically. This is on my website at winningcourtnow.com. Welcome, John Smith. Welcome to the program tonight, young man. And Mr. Martinez, 662 Martinez, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Mel from Minnesota. Oh, we got some folks in the house tonight. Jerry's from Georgia. Captured all name trust, being a beneficiary. Well, that's not what we're talking about tonight, John. We're going to talk about the temporary restraining order that we put together to block the state from receiving federal funding. And then we're going to talk about some other stuff. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing like administrative things like that, worrying about, because we just, they're violating your due process with procedures, with the everyday routine process and procedures. They're violating your due process, starting with their failure to deliver your deed to you as mandated by their property transfer laws. Well, the TRO is what I'm assuming you're referring to, Mel, and the TRO was structured to block the state from receiving federal funding. So the spending clause in the Constitution mandates that the state can't receive federal funding if they're violating the due process or the Fifth Amendment of the state citizens. The rest of it, they don't care about. But those two are what the Constitution protects, and so that's why we put that. Now, if it'll keep them away, well, I'm thinking most states receive anywhere from 36 to 72% funding to run the state. So I'm thinking if you block the state from receiving federal funding because they're violating your due process right with their routine process and procedures, and you have your lawsuit filed against them, then that should be a wrap. Most in this process, most of the people are going to be going after one judge or another, unless the judge gets smart and decides to TRO. Yeah, I figured that's what you're talking about, Mel. Unless the judge gets smart and decide to recuse himself, because that's really the only option. When you add the state and the judge and the attorney who signed to start the foreclosure to your it creates a bit of a problem for them. So let's just get on with it, because I know some people are here to hear. Now, that TRO is kind of like a dream of mine. My dream was to have like one document. Get the stuff ended. And so we're not down to one document yet, but the TRO to block the state from receiving federal funding should be pretty powerful. Now let's just get right into it. So the first person that contacted me, now I think there's probably 10 or 15 of these out. And the first person that contacted me a few days ago contacted me to let me know that the judge dismissed the TRO. And of course, when people contact me, I'm like, do your homework before you contact me, because our communication doesn't have as much value as it should have if you've done some research and understand what's going on. So anyway, so the judge dismissed his TRO and said he didn't have standing. I was like, he didn't have standing. That's the best that they could do with that. So that's telling me, I don't know what that tells you guys. What does that tell you guys if the guy's TRO got dismissed and the judge said he didn't have standing? That's telling me that there was a problem with his federal lawsuit. Because if your federal lawsuit is filed and there's not a problem with it, then you should have standing to get this done. So I'm thinking the problem is with the lawsuit, and the judge already knows the case is going to be dismissed soon.
as soon as the attorney gets the eviction process lined up, or at least that's what they thought. So we talked about this, and we figured out what the problem is. Well, we think we figured out what the problem is. One of the problems. So upon further review, the plaintiff that filed the lawsuit let me know that he did not properly respond to the attorney's motion dismissed for failure to state a claim under Rule 12B. Well, he didn't actually tell me that way. He told me in a different way, which what he said was they filed a motion 12B motion to dismiss for failure to state a claim. And then he responded by filing a motion for summary judgment. Now, he did good in the motion for summary judgment, but he screwed up when he didn't respond to a 12B motion to dismiss. And these attorneys are going to file a Rule 12B. That's their go-to crap, because most people don't spend the time to understand how to state a claim, nor do they go to my YouTube channel and search how to state a claim in the little search window that's over to the right of the homepage, and pull up the videos that we have on that teach you how to state a claim. And anyway, if you bought any of my documents, the recent documents, they're all structured to state a claim. These people just lie when their mouth's open. So, you know they're going to lie when their mouth's open. So, guys, you have to always respond to the attorney's documents by objecting and stating why you're objecting, what your objection is. So you can't just skip that part of it. And once you get that part of it done, then you could file your motion, your summary judgment motion if you want to. But you always have to respond. You always have to respond. And note that I didn't say answer. Okay, I don't answer to none of their crap. We respond with what they don't want to hear. That's how you do it. Now, if you understand the lawsuit package and why you added the state and why you added the judge and why you added the attorney to your counterclaim or to your state lawsuit that you're filing before you file in federal court, you're going to file in both state and federal. If you understand why you add those parties, then you'll have no problem responding to their fake ass motion to dismiss for Rule 12B. So I'm just saying. Now, the same thing is true for the judge's decisions. The same thing is true for the judge's decision. I object, demand a reconsideration to open up the case again for another judgment, and then you want to spank the judge, because I can just tell you right now there's 5 or 6 things right off the top of my head that I can think of that the judge is in violation of, and that's why we added the judge to the lawsuit. Now, if you're in federal court and the federal court judge is trying to help them, and he's dismissing your stuff without, then you need to add the notice of claim against the federal judge or whatever. Here's the thing: if they can violate your due process and you're not going to do shit about it, then they're just going to keep doing that until they're able to boot your butt out the back door. The due process violation is what allows those thieves to get you lined up in their illegal court process. That is the most important thing that you need to take away from this stream tonight. The due process violation is what allowed them to line your butt up in their illegal court. Now, what due process? Well, I'm talking about, when they didn't register when they registered your deed and didn't deliver it to you like they're supposed to. Their state law says they're supposed to deliver that deed to you. And most people don't realize that once they do what they call their constructive delivery, and they register it in their office. And that registration allows the very first illegal lien to be put on your property. And most people don't realize that the first illegal lien was a mortgage lien. And here's why it was illegal. I'm just going to spell it out for you. It was illegal. So if there were several people who own property, all of the owners would have to be present to sign the mortgage lien, right? Yep. So the fact that they accepted your signature on the alleged lender, accepted your signature on the mortgage lien,
pretty much shows that you owned it already. Yeah, I like to keep it simple. You keep it simple, there's no arguing. So the fact they accepted your signature on the mortgage lien proves that you owned it already. That alleged loan was generated with your own signature. Yep. Now, I would respond to the attorney document with the objection and why you're objecting. All you got to do is just know what you got in the lawsuit. Just bring the fire and stick it right in their face. Now, like I said earlier, the player's always going to claim that you failed to state a claim because they want to see if they can make you go home and change it all. And it's funny because the person that messaged me just kind of copy and pasted what the judge said, which I didn't really need to see because all he had to do was explain it to me. And that's what I make people do so that I can be rest assured that they understand. Okay, so if I'm making you explain some stuff to me and I don't want to see the judge's crap, it's because you need to be able to explain it to me. Otherwise, I'm thinking you don't understand. And if I'm thinking you don't understand, they damn sure thinking that too. Think about it. Now, they're always going to lie when their mouth's moving. And the state court judge, one of the main lies that they told this guy too is, the judge has immunity and all this stuff. Well, the judge don't have immunity. And the information in TRO the information in the lawsuit also spells out the judge does not have immunity. The Tucker's Act is a federal law that blocks the state players from violating the rights of the state citizens. And the Tucker's Act is actually a federal law. And we mentioned it in some of our documents. But, in this case, in the 42 U.S.C. 1983, you got what you need. We ain't trying to open the door to argue a bunch of other crap. We want to stay focused on those policies and procedures, the everyday routine stuff the state does with your documents that violate your due process. That's what we want to stick with, because until you get that part handled, you got shit for the program. I'm just saying, you got crapola for a programmer because it's not going to work out for you. Now, I have several videos on how to state a claim for relief. You can go and watch those videos so you understand that the document that you have from me states a claim for relief. And if you understand how to do that, then it will be a piece of cake when you're objecting to that little BS that they stick on the table. Yeah, John Smith, that looks like Arabic. Yeah, so I really like to hear from some other people that invested in the temporary restraining order. Some of those people who watched the instruction video and did everything right. I like to hear from those people too. Now, this guy is not toast. He just needs to get his stuff together, and he also needs to get the lawsuit. Until you get your lawsuit filed in federal court, you're exposed. So I'm just going to put it that way. That federal filing is what you're going to use to control the state court process. As a matter of fact, the state court judge has a conflict of interest because the state is actually the foreclosing party. Okay, the state is actually the foreclosing party, and the state is the corporation that illegally committed real estate deed fraud to illegally take control of your property deed. And the state is the one, after they got your deed, allowed the players to put the first illegal lien. And then the state came along, and anybody can stop me if I'm off base here. And then the state came along and reclassified your property to one of their commercial classifications, residential, agricultural, or commercial, for the sole purpose of taxation. Because the Constitution mandates that private property is not to be taxed, and your property is private property until they get it registered in their office and change your classification so they can charge you property tax every year.
And then the zoning coding people, zone and code people can start breathing fire up in your face. I can clean that up a little bit. Yeah. And all of that is occurs after they register your deed in the office. Now, here's the kicker stinking part of it. There is no law that says you need to put your deed in their office. There's not. There's no law that says you need to put your deed in their office. So there you go with that. You should be able to just formally request it. And then if they don't give it to you, then you should file your lawsuit. And you can find that package on my website, the Challenge Property Tax Lawsuit Package, and to make them whip out their non-disclosure. Bam! Uh-huh. Welcome, Crazy Horse Lady. Welcome to the show tonight. So that's pretty much the stick on that. Anytime that their attorneys tell you stuff, or the judge, or bar members, or the clerk, or anybody that's not your friend, they're lying. So that's a good way to look at that. Now, the foreclosure DIY ring strategy, I'm going to change the name on that a little bit. I'm adding a few steps to that process. The ring strategy I included in most of the lawsuit packages. If you didn't get it, you can send me an email and I'll be glad to email it over to you. And the ring strategy is pretty much a collective account of what everyone's had to do from beginning to end. Now, not everybody's going to have to do all of these steps that I have listed on here, because it's going to depend on how they respond to your stuff and things like that. So, but I have everything that everyone's been doing listed out here, so people can use them. Like, for instance, if they're ignoring you, then you can go over this list and see what other people are doing, to see if you missed doing something or whatever, or if there's something that you need to be working on. And so that's what the ring strategy is about. And I'm going to I'm going to update it tomorrow and post a blog post in the Facebook page and on my blog post on my website with a link to the updated version of the ring strategy. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is something that a mistake that a lot of people are doing, and it's pissing me off. So, so we're going to talk about that. Well, Paula, I don't really tell people what to do, but I don't have any faith in their appeal. Most people, when you do an appeal, don't have what you need in the eviction court to do the appeal, because the judge doesn't do a ruling of law, fact of finding, and a fact of findings and conclusions of law. And they don't do that in administrative court. They only do that in a judicial court. And now you think you're in a judicial court, but you're not. You're in an administrative court. And so my take on this is, if you follow their conventional program, you might as well throw your shit in the yard. I'm just saying, because they're not going to help you. There's nothing to appeal from the eviction. The eviction is usually done in a lower court, and the lower court don't have jurisdiction to be doing anything in the first place. And there's no injured party. You're the one that's being injured. And unless you file something in state and federal, they're going to ignore you and keep going forward to get you to the 10-day count. So what does that mean? That means that you should stop playing in their conventional program, or I would stop playing in their conventional program and get my lawsuit filed to take control of the situation. Because when they're going to know when the appeals court's ready to kick your stuff out, they're going to know before you, and they're going to have all their eviction stuff all lined up before you even find out. So I'm just saying.
So the best thing that I would do is get my lawsuit filed against these fools, and include the eviction court people right in there with with the illegal mortgage fraud. Because basically, if they're all working together, then you know that the conspiracy, that's what they throw on the table all the time. So that conspiracy, and you don't even have to know shit to be in the conspiracy thing. So that's what I would do. But you know, you're wasting valuable time right now, Paula. That's what I got to say to you. And I'm not just trying to push you in my stuff, because you can make your own shit if you know how. But you're wasting valuable time by waiting on the appeal and all that stuff. Until you go after these fools for the process that they're putting you in, that's violating your due process, you got crap before the program. So that's where I'm at on that. I hope that helped you a little bit. You entered federal court without state ID that I don't have our own, so I don't know. Art, you're talking about their rules or the court rules or whatever, I guess. So I don't know anything about entering federal court without. I don't think they're going to let you in federal court unless you can identify yourself. Of course, they let me in once. The marshal told me, Mr. Neighbors, you don't have to get your ID out. We know who you are. Yeah, but I can't answer your question there. I don't know how to enter. I don't know their stuff. I'm not an attorney, so I can't tell you how to do that. I'm thinking that they're not going to let you in without an ID, and they won't let you in without with your cell phone. And federal court, they'll be playing. You can't be taking nothing up in there to record their fraud. Paula, if you're facing the eviction process, what we've had to do to stop the eviction process is to file the lawsuit, the 42 USC that you get from my website, in state court. Pay and file a claim in state court. Now, if you're not in the eviction process, you can try the counterclaim thing, because that works for some people. But if you're in the eviction process, you don't have time to be playing around. So you need to file. And on my YouTube channel, on this channel, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can go to the instructional video playlist page. And on that instructional video playlist page, there is an updated instructional video in that instructional video playlist. That updated instructional video outlines the steps that you need to crush the state court process. It outlines where you got to go and how you got to do and how you got to do to crush the state court process before you file over in federal court. Now, eventually, you're going to be moving that whole thing from state court over to federal court, because remember, you're going after them for violating your due process rights with their routine procedures and processes. So all of that stuff that was going on over there is your evidence. You're no longer talking about if you missed a payment or you ran a stop sign or any of that crap. You're no longer talking about that. You're talking about the reason why you're in the problem that you're in right now. And that reason is they violated your due process with their routine procedures. Not everybody's coming to the table like that, but we got a lot of happy people. You guys, I actually updated. I updated the reviews that came in on my website. You guys can go to my website. You can scroll down and check out the reviews. Updated the reviews. I have a couple of reviews from a couple of paralegal people. One from Nikki Ross, who is helping people in 4 different states stop these foreclosures. And she says right in the interview that it's not even her property. So yeah, she's using the online course. Now, the online course is totally badass, and it's actually a step up from the lawsuit packages that you guys are dealing with. And it's totally off the chain. And it's perfect for property owners, investors, or paralegal entrepreneurs to use to help people and start their own business, because the online course is on teachable.com, and everything that you need to do everything that you need to do is in that course. And I also included TRO in the online course, and I included the TRO in the challenge property tax package, because I just think that I just love to see how they want to do when people whip that out. Paula, I'm going to have you go to my website at winningcourtnow.com, and you can check out the courses. If you click on the product page, it'll open up. So the course so I have lawsuit packages, and then I have two courses. Some people get the lawsuit packages confused for the courses, and the lawsuit packages are not courses. The online courses, I have two, one for judicial and one for non-judicial foreclosures. Now, they're both kind of the same, so to speak, because we're using the 42 USC 1983 package. But the other lawsuit package that I had in there before I put this new one in there, I still left in there so people can have fun if they want to. But when you're going after them for the 42 USC, it really doesn't matter so much anymore if it's judicial or non-judicial, because you're going after them for the routine process and procedure that they use to line your ass up in their thing. Now, it's probably a smart idea if you're in non-judicial to get the non-judicial package, because the difference between the two is the non-judicial is done without a court hearing. I mean, they tell you you got 30 days to pay, then they're going to sell your house or whatever, and they don't drag you in court until they get around to the eviction process. And by then it's too late. You know, it's not too late, but you waited pretty long. And if you get in a 10-day window, it's a bigger problem, because then they throw your shit in a basket over there on the table and stall you off, because they know they just need a few more days to have the popo show up at your house. So the online course is the best. The online course is the premium package. The 42 USC 1983 civil rights lawsuit package is the most popular one for just the average people. And then I have a lesser expensive one, which is the one that we used in the very first, that allows some arguing. So it doesn't work quite as fast, but it works. People are using it. Those people who can't afford to step up to one of the premium packages, and that was the reason why I put it together. I wanted to have everyone have an opportunity that kicks to punching people in the face. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and there's the property tax lawsuit, a link to the property tax challenge, property tax lawsuit package. But I'm thinking this is probably winningcourtnow.com. Just head over to the website and take a look at your options that you have. There it is, Paula. It's going right across the bottom of the screen there. Now you guys can friend me on Facebook on my personal page, Guy Neighbors, and then once you friend me, I can send you the link to the Facebook page where you can ask your questions and stuff. And it's not a group that you have to join; it's just a page that you like. The group that I've had for a long time, they had 600 people in it. That's not a good group for new people, because those guys are advanced down the road, and you get lost in there real easy. So the way I have things set up is the best way, because I can help the most amount of people with the least amount of problems. Well, thank you, Libra Justice. The brains that I've learned came from real-time feedback from the 600 and something people in the Facebook pages that I use. Those people report back to me how these fools are trying to get around the program, and that allows me to make changes, add stuff, or do whatever. So now we have structured a non-conventional program based off of real-time feedback. So this program based off of how shit really is going. It's going pretty well for us. So thank you guys for the privilege of sharing your time. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. I'm going to post a video on Wednesday. I'm not sure what it's going to be about, but I'll come up with something. I'll see you guys in the next live stream. Good night.